What's up, America? Episode 17. This is almost a full NFL season of episodes. I am one of the hosts, Richard Mignette, and I'm with my co-host.
Kenny Nicholson.
And the regular season. Well, first of all, we're a Cardinals podcast. I don't know if anybody can see that. Shout out Trey McBride.
T
Shout out.
McBee.
A lot of people might not get this one. This is AJ Green, Georgia Bengal legend. Um, Obviously, I don't know if the world knows this, but I collect jerseys. Kenny is starting to get into the hobby. He is tentatively, he's experimenting a little bit with the hobby, seeing what he likes, seeing what he doesn't like. Um, and he got Trey McBride because Trey McBride was in one of his fantasy teams, correct?
Yes, yes.
Yep.
Big T McBee believer.
And I think he's going to be his keeper. And I've been trying to get a
Congratulations.
little bit more into I've only collected AFC jerseys, but I've been trying to get a little more to the NFC so that when we do this, I got an NFC jersey if it's like a Thursday night game. So Cardinals right now super cheap. They just got rid of these uniforms. These are old. So this was like $20. Use a gift card, no sweat. Can't get a great deal. Shout out to Fanatics. So we are we were a Broncos podcast, still are kind of not really Cardinals podcast now. So shout out to the
Love it.
Cardinals. Shout out to AJ Green. Shout out to Trey McBride. But the regular season officially over, and we are on to the playoffs.
On to the playoffs, man. Sad, very sad. We said the word bittersweet
Yep.
last episode. That's the best way to put it.
Yep.
It's bittersweet. We're all gonna miss the NFL. We still have the NFL. Granted, the picks and the episodes, probably everything's gonna be shorter and not as extensive, and it's gonna be fun, but it's you're missing out on the NFL, the hype that comes with the new season. Now everybody's kind of talking about the off season. Playoffs are coming up though, and playoffs are going to be really exciting.
Yep.
There's a certain team that Richard and I root for that made the playoffs, won their division.
Correct.
They did what they had to do. They took care of business. They're on my hat.
Shout out to the Bucks.
We'll talk about that later. But yeah, fantasy season's over. One more time, I am the champion of our league
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
birthed this podcast from its womb.
Yeah. I think we already covered that.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah. Yeah.
we're gonna hit it one more time.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll put a bow on it. I am the
We'll put
champion.
it. We'll double knot it. We'll double knot it. Let's
Yeah,
go. There you
I like
go.
that. Yeah. So we double knotted the bow. It's done.
Yeah.
Not gonna
Done.
mention
That's it.
not gonna
That's it.
mention it anymore. No more.
Hey, Jared, you getting
Um
this, bro? Jared, you hearing this?
Jared is somewhere crying right now. But yeah, we got an exciting one in store for you. We're gonna talk NFL playoffs. We're gonna recap our picks, talk playoff picks. It's gonna be
Yep.
great. Richard, back to you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So let's go over real quick.
Want to go
Let's
over the records? Because you can throw
yeah,
it back to
let's
me and I can just do them real quick.
yeah. Let's go
All
over
right.
our records from last week and our overall records.
Okay, so we're gonna. I don't know, Richard. Do you agree with resetting records for the playoffs? Because we haven't
Yeah.
talked if we agree on that.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
so we agree
That's
on
that's
this.
another, that's another thing that you won.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
yeah, 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 yeah.
yeah, I mean,
Oh,
what can I
yeah, I'm the
say? I
champ.
mean,
Yeah, I'm the champ, bro. You know what I say, bro? Greatness, where's greatness, baby? Let's go.
yeah. Well, week 18 records. So I finished. Wasn't our best week. It was kind of hard to predict. I'm not gonna lie, with all the backups
Tough,
playing
tough
and
week.
just weird week. I finished 10-6. Richard finished 9-7. That leads us to our overall record. So we one more time we started tracking week 8. So from week 8 to week 18, so 10 weeks. We were picking the games, winners, losers. I finished 100, so I reached 100 wins, which is nice. 164. Richard finished 98 and 68. So I had a 61% win percentage. Richard had a 60% win percentage. We both did great. But now regular season's over. We can't see that piece of paper. What does that say?
Man, dude.
Yep, that's what Richard finished right there on the board. Glad he wrote that out for you guys, just in case we have any viewers that are hard of hearing. So yeah, that's all right. He wrote it out again. Yep, that was Kenny's. Yeah, and just a heads up, we can't really hear you very well right now.
Sorry,
Now-
sorry,
now we can.
sorry, sorry.
Now we can.
Impromptu. 98, 66, 164.
Yep, those were the records. Good first year. This podcast is going
Really,
to go
really
on.
good. Really good.
Yeah, this podcast is going to keep going on. We'll try to keep records of everything, keep tabs. So, as we get older, we start growing gray hair everywhere. We'll know how we stand against our former selves.
I
But
actually had a massive gray hair like right here. My beard. Listen, I haven't been able to go see my barber. She's been conflicting schedules. I've been in and out of Orlando. The other day, I was like just trying to clean up. There was a like this big of a gray hair. I couldn't believe it. I'm old. I'm getting
Yeah,
old. I'm getting up there.
I got
My
some as well.
sciatica is killing me on my right side. I was standing a bunch today. I can't feel my right leg, so
Oh
probably not a
man.
good thing. But it's what Nick Saban retired today. We're getting old.
Nick
Shout out to Nick
Saban,
Saban.
yeah, Nick Saban retired. Pete Carroll's stepping down.
Carroll
There's a lot
stepping
of NFL
down.
news. We can talk about that for a second before we get into picks. I mean, Pete Carroll stepping down. That's really
Yeah,
sad to see. That guy's
sucks.
youthful too. He's 72, I believe. He might be
Yep.
older than that, but I think he's 72. And he's a youthful, just full of life coach. Did not see that coming. When I think Seahawks, I think Pete Carroll, just kind of heading that organization. And it's kind of sad to see. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I don't really think that this was a mutual. I mean, the Seahawks are pretty careful with their words. Like when they traded Russ, they made it pretty much seem like Russ wanted out, and Russ was making it seem like it was mutual. Um, they're calling this mutual. I don't believe this is mutual at all.
No.
I'm not saying that it's not like amicable or good. I'm sure this is all going on good terms. I think this is probably more maybe one reset year for Pete. He's gonna get still paid. I'm sure his salary, because he is under contract. He is one of the highest paid coaches in the NFL. But do I think that Pete Carroll is done on the sidelines? No, not at all. I think this is just probably going to be a year, kind of like Sean Payton did. He's not going to do, broadcast or anything. He's still going to be with the Seahawks after this year. He's going to look at the market, see what's going on. Um, but right now we have, I believe, 7 or 8 head coaching jobs. So we have the Seahawks, and we'll touch on this. Vrabel's out in Tennessee.
Yeah.
That's also a crazy one. Um, that
Commanders.
one that one wasn't as shocking because there were a little bit of tea leaves leading to that. They didn't know what type of leadership was going to be going on there. I think what Vrabel wanted was someone to oversee him and Rand Carthen, their GM. Miss Amy Adams, the owner, did not want that, and it seems like Vrabel lost, and he got fired. Was not a mutual parting ways. They definitely said he was fired, which is pretty crazy. Commanders, Panthers, Falcons, um, Chargers, Raiders, and we're remain to be seen on the Patriots. So we're
Yeah.
still waiting to hear on the Patriots, but
Patriots, I think everybody kind of expects.
based off of all the reports and the way things are going, and the fact that Nick Saban's retiring, that might be it for Bill. And if it is, greatest of all time, I think he'll
Yeah.
probably end up on the sidelines next year too. But
I don't see that
definitely
guy stopping.
yeah, a crazy. Can you imagine a coaching staff with Saban, Belichick, and Pete Carroll?
I mean, they got a lot of tenure there.
That'd be
I don't
pretty
think they're
damn
all going
cool.
to see eye to eye though.
No, not at all. Not at
A
all.
lot of big
Not at all.
egos, but
But crazy. And I mean, listen, I don't know if I'm looking at the teams in the playoffs. McCarthy's not going to go anywhere, and the Cowboys, I don't think,
I saw Dan
unless they
Quinn.
lose to the Packers, then he might go. Todd Bowles is probably going to stay with the Bucks. There is absolutely no grounds to fire him, and I don't really think he should be. 2 years back-to-back playoffs with the team we had this year going to the playoffs is pretty cool. Um, so I think Todd is beyond safe. Rams and Lions are safe. Sirianni, that's a name to keep an eye on, but I don't think that happens. But again, a lot of coaches just are getting like Mike Vrabel's out there. Mike Vrabel's gonna be very, very sought after by a lot of teams. He's gonna probably gonna have his pick, but this is the NFL, baby.
The
They don't call it the
Bears,
NFL for no reason.
the Bears are keeping Eberflus,
Yep,
which
Eberflus is safe.
I was shocked to see.
They
Antonio
fired
Pierce.
they fired their DC and their OC. Well,
Yeah,
actually, their DC got fired at the beginning of the year, and then they fired their OC today.
yeah, I saw that. I think they also fired their quarterback coach. Antonio Pierce has been requested by the Titans to interview for that position.
Whoa!
Mhm.
Wow.
I don't think he'll take that. I feel like the Raiders.
I think he's gonna stay in Vegas unless Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh is gonna pick. Listen, we're doing this right now. It's January 10th. I'm guaranteeing that Jim Harbaugh will be an NFL head coach on week 1. I'm guaranteeing it. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I'm guaranteeing Jim Harbaugh goes back to the NFL. If he wasn't, he would have signed that extension weeks ago. He hired Don Yee. He's going back to the NFL. It's just a matter of where.
Yeah, and for those that don't know, Jim Harbaugh just won the national championship with Michigan. I was
Mhm.
shocked. I didn't realize how successful Jim Harbaugh was when he was coaching the NFL. Also saw a throwback clip of him throwing. I didn't realize he was a quarterback at like 4 different teams. He was a Raven
Yeah.
for a while.
Raven,
Um,
Bear, Colt, and a Charger, I believe. But
yeah,
Jim
sounds right.
Harbaugh, I mean, it's been so long. He started off at San Diego State. Then he goes to Stanford, wins the Orange Bowl with Andrew Luck, then gets hired to go to the 49ers. He dominated with the 49ers. The
Yeah, they were
49ers were
really good.
horrible growing up. We watched the 49ers. They were terrible. They were not a good franchise. They still had Alex Smith when he was there. He was the number one pick in '05. He gets there 2011, completely turns the franchise around, goes to the NFC Championship game, loses. 2012 goes to the Super Bowl, loses. 2013 NFC Championship game again in Seattle, loses. That was a famous Michael Crabtree, Richard Sherman game. And then he could not see eye to eye with Trent Baalke, who was their former GM, who's now the GM of the Jaguars. Jed York chose Baalke over Harbaugh. Harbaugh's last year, they went 8-8, missed the playoffs. The next day, he's hired by Michigan. That was in 2015. He gets hired. So, I mean, a lot of people know him as a Michigan head coach, but Jim Harbaugh's number one goal has been to win a Super Bowl. I thought he was going to leave last year. Didn't take the Vikings job. Was the only team that he interviewed with the Vikings, or 2 years ago. They hired Kevin O'Connell. Um, but I think this is 100% the year. He's done everything he wanted to do at Michigan. There's nothing left to accomplish in college. Uh, he had a little bit of a scandal. I know a lot of people like to forget that, but he cheated. Just saying, they technically cheated. Um, but I think he's definitely gonna be on the NFL sidelines.
Yeah, and if you're gonna go to a team, they're also real quick. We do have to mention Arthur Smith was fired from the Atlanta
Yep, from
Falcons.
the Falcons. Yep,
That
tough.
guy, Arthur Smith, just terrible coach. He's still gonna make a ton of money. I think I saw a stat. He's gonna make like $13,000 every single day for like the next like 4 years or something.
It's crazy
Um,
because he was a really good OC with Tennessee. It just did not. I don't know what
it's
happened
weird
over
how
there
that
in
stuff
Atlanta.
happens.
Yeah,
And you'd think offensive-minded coaches nowadays kind of have the recipe for success, but yeah, I think that about does it with news. Lions OC Ben Johnson, he's been really sought after. He's up for he's got 4 different interview requests for head coach openings: Titans,
yep.
Chargers, Commanders, Panthers. I think the Chargers job is obviously going to be the one that's most sought after. They got the most talent. Commanders have a really high draft pick. They got the number 2 pick in the draft, so they can,
Hmm.
if you hire the right coach, I mean, hopefully they make the right pick there. We've had extensive conversations about how boom or bust you can get with early
Yeah,
QB picks. You've seen it this
yep.
year. Bryce Young, CJ Stroud. It can go it can go both ways. Usually it ends up working either really well or it doesn't work at all.
Yeah.
Or now that I think about it, you also have situations like Baker Mayfield, you know, kind of a
Yeah.
late riser in his career, not that big for
Teddy
yourself.
Bridgewater kind of ended up being just like
Teddy
a
Bridgewater was Jared Goff the number 1 overall pick. Pretty sure
yeah. Jared Goff was number one,
Jared
16.
Goff. He's nobody thinks of Jared Goff as like a stud quarterback, but he's been on.
Guys you can win with.
Yeah, guys you can win games with. The Bears, we've exhausted that conversation. Justin Fields, they're still deciding on that. I think
My official stance is they have too much stuff to address, and just drafting a quarterback is not going to do any good. So they should trade number one. That doesn't mean you don't have to draft a quarterback. You could trade number one and trade Justin Fields, and that's a ton of picks, and just load up. Um, but my
I don't
official stance is they don't draft Caleb Williams at one. They trade back. That does again, it doesn't mean you have to keep Justin Fields, but I don't think that drafting just Caleb Williams at one and the guy at nine is going to fix everything. So trade back. You could trade Fields for a third to somebody like Atlanta. Um, but yeah, that's the official take.
yeah, I was gonna say like obviously I'm not NFL head coach or GM, but it just makes I feel like it makes a lot of logical sense where if you don't need to draft a quarterback with your first overall pick, you can get so much from that pick. You saw it
Yeah.
with the Panthers, everything they gave up just to get Bryce Young. Like you could really set up your team for a lot of success just by trading that first overall pick. And if you don't really need it, like Justin Fields, he hasn't really gotten it done in big time moments. He's been kind of wishy washy. I'm not going to lie. I am a Justin Fields stan, but I think you could win games with Justin Fields if he starts, limiting mistakes and kind of plays with a little bit better head on his shoulders. He's still a young
And
guy.
it seems like they are going to keep him based off the fact that they're firing their OC and their QB coach. So
Yeah.
I think they're kind of putting a little bit of the blame on that, which those are the two most important guys as a quarterback. So that makes sense.
Yeah. So yeah, those are all the takes there on the news. So we could probably move on.
Yeah, I love the NFL. Very, very exciting times. Let's get into the playoffs, the most important games of the year. Um, 3 games, 2 games Saturday, 2 games Sunday, 3 games Sunday, excuse me, all over the place, and 1 game Monday. That's the Bucks Eagles. We will both be in the house for that game. We'll probably tailgate together, hopefully, because we're actually close friends outside this podcast.
Kind of.
Um, Browns Texans, NRG Stadium, Saturday, 4:30. They crown this the AFC West. I mean, excuse me, the AFC South game. Every single year, AFC South, 4 o'clock. You can bank on it. That team's probably going to be in there. Um, I'm gonna go with the Browns, and this is not a popular pick. I know a lot of people love the Texans. I love the Texans just as much as the next person. However, the Browns are an older team, and I think the Texans are. I'm not saying the Texans are happy to be there. I'm sure they're ecstatic to be there, but the Browns. This has been brewing, and they have a lot of older guys and have a lot of veteran presence. So do the Texans. However, that week off for the Browns for a team like them, I think helps them rest and recovery wise. The Texans are coming off, like we always say, an emotional victory versus the Colts. They got to go at home. Sometimes in the playoffs, it's better to be the road team, the road juice, not much pressure. I'm going to take the Browns in this one.
I'm with you, man. I picked the Texans last week to beat the Colts. I had a
Yep.
feeling that CJ Stroud was kind of going to like solidify his legacy there. He's had a great rookie season. Obviously, really worked out. Texans hit the jackpot there.
Yep.
And that could be a possible storyline, but I'm going to go Browns as well. Flacco has obviously been there before. The
Blacko.
Yeah, the Browns, they're just stacked across the board. They have that Super Bowl caliber defense, and then their offense has finally started flashing towards the later half of the year when they got Flacco, which again,
Yep.
every team who didn't pick up Flacco right now is kicking themselves. On the Jets last year, man, you could just see how bad like sometimes it gets on the Jets, but like he was so limited. Now they're just letting him fly. Does he throw
Yeah.
picks? He does throw picks. Is the Texans defense elite enough to stop the Browns offense? I don't know. Amari Cooper has had some time to heal. He was a little banged up. He missed the previous game. Definitely didn't play last week because last week I think they rested like all their starters. Um, so they're well rested going into this week. The Texans just fought to get that last win against the Colts. So I'm gonna go Browns here. I think they can get it done pretty easily, even though they are away, which doesn't help. But being in Cleveland, I mean, it's not like the most fabulous place to play. So I don't really think they care when they're away, to be honest. It's on turf, indoor stadium. Should it be a problem?
100%. Dolphins Chiefs from Arrowhead. When I saw this matchup, I immediately penciled in the Dolphins. I thought the Chiefs are done. They have not looked the same team. They don't have the offensive firepower they have. Their defense has struggled a little bit as of lately. And then you really look at this Dolphins team, and they are not a bad football team. However, it NFL seasons have a thing called momentum to them, and the Dolphins simply have zero momentum coming into this game. Um, it started really when Jalen Phillips busted his Achilles on I think it was Christmas Eve or like the day before Christmas Eve. Or no, it was Black Friday. Bradley Chubb has torn his ACL. A lot of injuries. Tyreek Hill has a quad injury now. Mostert not healthy. Jalen Waddle not healthy. They simply aren't a team right now, current day, week 19, to compete and win for a championship. The Chiefs, they clinched the AFC West 2 weeks ago, rested their starters versus the Chargers. They are very much ready to play this game at home in Arrowhead. Um, Patrick Mahomes has a very good record at Arrowhead. I think he's only lost twice. He's never played a road game this year. That's obviously going to change if they win. They're not the number 1 seed, but I'm going to take the Chiefs in this game.
Yeah, I'm with you on the Chiefs. Hopefully, there's only 6 games, so hopefully we don't have the exact same picks for every game. We'll probably have to
Yeah,
fade each other on purpose once, but I'm gonna go Chiefs here as well. Similar argument to what Richard made, or similar points. The Dolphins are banged up. Tua last week, who'd they play last week?
Bills.
They played the Bills last week, and they kept it competitive against the Bills. I think all the way up till that punt return or kick return, whatever it was. I think it was a punt return for the touchdown by Deontay Hardy, I believe his name was.
Yep. He
Um,
used to have a different last name. He played with the Saints.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I saw that he needed it was like a 10.5 yard average punt return. He'd get like a 250K incentive, and he got it with that punt return. So pretty
Woo!
cool.
Pretty cool.
Um, so he made a bunch of money and won in the game. But anyways, I'm gonna go Chiefs here. Chiefs have obviously been there before. Patrick Mahomes, you can never count him out. hasn't been the best year for Patrick Mahomes, and the Chiefs have not looked as good as they do in previous years. But their defense has looked a lot better than it really ever has, at least from what I've seen, which is a huge plus. Doesn't have the weapons that he really needs. I mean, Rashee Rice has kind of stepped up. Travis Kelce's taken a step back. I think it has to do with this whole Taylor Swift drama, but
He also
whatever.
is he also is 34, pretty
He
old.
is he is 34. He's an old guy.
Yep.
Well, old in the terms of NFL. So obviously not gonna have the same pep in his step, but yeah, I'm gonna go Chiefs. I really don't feel like I need to say anything else. So Chiefs.
Um, real quick, Steelers Bills. You want to go first?
No. I'm gonna go. Sorry, Jake, if you're watching this, any Steelers fans, I'm gonna go Bills. This TJ Watt's not gonna be in this game, which is obviously a huge X factor. I've actually been a Steelers believer for a lot of these games. We picked them and they've won more often than not. And I also last week I made a point that I thought the Jags were gonna lose and the Steelers were gonna win because they just have a way of sneaking in the playoffs like this. Mike Tomlin,
Yeah.
he's got this voodoo to him.
Yeah.
But I think the Bills, unfortunately, are gonna kind of destroy them. I don't think Mason Rudolph is really going to keep it rolling this game, and I don't think the defense is going to be able to stop him.
Yeah. Uh, well said. Bills. Not much to say there. Packers Cowboys from Jerry World Sunday. Great game. 4:30. MLK Day the next day. Everybody's off. It's pretty much Saturday. I'm gonna take the boys at home. Packers are a really good team. Um, I was high on them on the preseason. They were came out the gates fast, then slowed down. I said, "Uh-oh, maybe they're not that good." But LaFleur, he's got his guy. He was right. Jordan Love, everything that he said about Jordan Love, the early draft pick, not taking wide receivers, validated. He is a stud. We've said that before in this podcast. He's a stud. But the Cowboys are the Cowboys. They're very, very, very talented, and everything is coming together at the right time for Dak, for their offense, for their defense. Give me the Cowboys.
Well, I wanted to pick the Cowboys, but we can't keep picking the
Oh.
exact same team.
No, don't listen. Don't do that. You can pick the Cowboys. We got a ton of games left still.
There's 3 games left.
Is there really?
Yeah. So but I'm gonna go Cowboys.
Yeah.
I
I
can't.
mean,
I was
come
gonna
on.
go Packers but look, if there's gonna be an upset, the next game we'll talk about that. But if there's gonna be like a big upset, I would predict this being the one. The Cowboys are
It
kind of a
could be.
fluky team here and there.
The
Over unders at
Cowboys the
50 and a
Cowboys
half, which makes
usually they usually curl up in the big moment.
yeah, this could be a Jordan Love just goes crazy game. He's had a really good connection with Jaden Reed. The defense has been stepping up. I did not expect them to make the playoffs, and here they are. They're a really young team, so the fact that they're doing this good, this young, is really impressive. But I still, to my heart and logically, I'm gonna go Cowboys here. We might have the same picks for every game, but I'm gonna go Cowboys.
And our freshman year, 2016, Aaron Rodgers went into the Cowboys in the divisional, Dak's rookie year, and upset them at home. But I don't foresee that happening again. Rams Lions from Ford Field. This is a game that everybody circled. They put this Sunday night. Matt Stafford returns. Prodigal son returned to Detroit for their first home playoff game ever in Ford Field. Very cool. Um, I think a lot of people are taking the Rams here, and I initially was like, there's two sides to this. I really think that McVay could like out coach the Manimal in this one. However, the Lions team is really good as a whole. Like it's not the Rams are very dependent on Kyron and Puka. And obviously Cooper Cup is still there, but Cooper Cup has not been right. I don't think Cooper Cup is right. I'm sure he's probably gonna have some type of surgery in the offseason. Um, and it could be a little bit of an over emotional game for Matthew Stafford. Like that's a real thing. He could have too many emotions. He could want to maybe put on too much of a show in Detroit, maybe stick it to them. I don't know why. I mean, he wants Super Bowl. I'm just like throwing things out there. I'm not saying he wants to do that. So this is a tough. I'm gonna let you pick first because I still don't know who I want to go with. I'll let you pick first because this is a tough game.
Yeah, part of me feels like I'm falling. Let's see what the public's on according to Bleacher Report. Oh gosh. So according to the Bleacher Report app I have, it shows you like where the public's on. 74% of the people are on the Rams.
Woo,
And
yeah.
I want to pick the Rams. I'm gonna pick the Rams just because I got to stick with my initial gut. But that doesn't make me feel comfortable doing it. But the reason I'm picking the Rams, obviously they've been one of the hottest teams in the NFL. I've said it. Richard said it. A lot of people have said it. As they've gotten more later in the season, they've been playing better. They're one of those teams you don't want to face in the playoffs. They're a 6 seed, but you still don't want to play them. They've been red hot. Kyron and Stafford got to rest last week. Puka barely played just to get some stats. I think he holds the record for like either receiving yards or receptions by a rookie. It might be both.
I think it's both.
Yeah, I think it's both. Which he was a. I don't know if you saw. If you see that clip where they talked about him on draft day?
Yeah, they were freaking
It
out
was
about him.
well. They were saying like how good they thought he was going to be, and
Yeah,
I'm sure there's clips out there where the player sucks, but
McVay's
that
like,
was pretty cool.
give me that guy, man. I can really work with him.
Yeah. Well, Puka Nakua, everybody's going to remember the name. I'm going Rams simply because of how hot their offense has been. Their defense is pretty good as well. The Lions are a really well-rounded team, but for some reason, I just don't. I don't know. I just don't see them getting it done. So I'm gonna go Rams.
Yeah, really. This is like a tough game. If I had to imagine what the line is, I would say the line is. Don't tell me what the line is, but it's got to be under 3.
Do you want to know?
Yeah,
Oh, it's Lions -3.
there it is.
They are at home, so they always give
Yeah,
you points.
that's the Lions overall team does not have the experience that the Rams team does. Like the Rams have a lot of dudes who have been here before and won a Super Bowl, and just overall vets. The Lions have a lot of guys that are doing this for the first time, including their head coach. I mean, he was with the Saints and they were successful, but for the sake of the pod, I'll go Lions. I don't feel comfortable with this pick at all. I wouldn't feel comfortable taking the
Also,
Rams either.
Laporta's not playing too. Just to keep.
Oh yeah, I'm not doing that. Rams. No way. Laporte's not for real. Not playing.
I'm pretty sure I saw that.
That's
Let
yeah,
me double check, but I don't want to spread false information. But
yeah. This we might see a Packers on Thanksgiving type of game here from the Lions.
all right, he's not officially ruled out, but he didn't practice Wednesday, and Dan Campbell said it's an. He did not sound optimistic. He said it's an outside shot that Laporta
Yeah,
plays.
no chance. Give me the Rams as well. Eagles Bucks will be there in the house Monday Night Football. This is the second year in a row that the NFL has screwed the Bucks and put them on Monday Night Football. And I have a theory: tinfoil hat. At first, I was like, "Oh, they're doing this because the Eagles Monday Night Football." Wrong. They're doing this, and I know this for a fact. Not really, but this is my theory. They are 100% doing this so that the Eagles can get healthy. AJ Brown got hurt. Devontae Smith has been hurt. Jalen Hurts screwed up his middle finger and showed the
Yeah,
whole world. That
that
was
was gross.
disgusting. Their whole team is hurt, and they get the Monday night game. Give me a break. Give me a break. Why didn't they put the Eagles a Saturday night? We're not that big of a draw. We're the Bucks. We're not. This isn't Tom Brady. Why didn't they put the Chiefs on Monday Night Football? Chiefs Dolphins a lot better of a game. Give me a break. Bucks by a billion.
Yeah, you know what? You raise a good point. I didn't even think about that, but that is a little sketchy if they did that.
It's
I was
ridiculous. It's a joke.
I'm happy it's not Saturday because I have personal obligations, but I really wanted it to be Sunday because we had the next day off. Would have been perfect, but
Yeah,
unfortunately it's
but they
Monday.
don't want to give the Bucks any breaks. They don't want to put them on Sunday. They could have put Packers Cowboys Monday night. I mean, there's a gazillion ways they want the Eagles healthy. They want the Eagles healthy.
And I still don't think they're going to be fully healthy by then, but they are, I mean, they could be trying to help them. But real quick, I am picking the Bucks as well. Obviously, we are Bucks fans, but the Eagles in their last 6 games, they're 1-5. If you just peek and ignore that they were 10-1, just cover your eye. They're not that good. They lost to the Giants. They lost to the Cardinals. They are banged up. They are the opposite of hot. They are a cold team. They had our number when we played them in the regular season. I think the score was like 25-11 or something. I'm pretty sure that's right. 25-11. And the score is better than what the game looked. They completely dominated us. But since then, Yaya Diaby, Kalijah Kancey, those guys have developed. We're getting the call from the producer, 10 minutes. Those guys have developed. Kalijah Kancey, Yaya Diaby have turned out to be really good players. KJ Britt's been playing better. I think Devin White's pretty much back into the mix, though. Our defense is looking good. Antoine Winfield is more motivated than ever. Big Pro Bowl snub there. Our offense is playing good. Last couple weeks hasn't been playing as good, but as long as we show up and play Buccaneer football, I'm very confident that we will destroy the Eagles.
Yep. The Eagles we did our Super Bowl picks. It was Bills and Eagles. I was really hoping that the Eagles
Oh
wouldn't play the
crap!
Bucks first round.
Ugh, might have to
Um,
change that up.
you're sticking with yours. Yours was
Super Bowl prediction for Kenny. I had the Ravens versus the Rams, and I have I have the Ravens winning it all.
Wow. Okay, there you go. Um, I have Bills Eagles, and I'm technically gonna keep it because
You have
I'm
Bills
picking I'm
winning it
picking the
all.
Bucks, but my Super Bowl, so I'm kind of like double covered. Um, you mentioned that if you take away the 1 and 5, like if you take away 10-1 to look at the 1 and 5, my theory is like if you like the law of averages, like the Eagles are due, like they just are, and
Yeah,
if you
Devil's avocados. Yeah.
if you give a really good football team, which I unfortunately think the Eagles are, all they got to do is win 4 games. They could 100% do that. They have the talent. They have the roster. Are they healthy? That's the question that we don't know. We won't know because they won't disclose these injuries and how serious they are right now. Um, but I hope the Bucks win. I mean, listen, I'll be wrong. I don't care. I hope the Bucks win. But if anybody's going to come out the NFC, now listen, I don't want to be basic and take the 49ers,
Same.
but the 49ers, okay, so if so let's say okay, let's just say that the Rams win. The 49ers are either going to play they're going to play the lowest remaining seed.
Yeah.
So
The Rams win.
if everything I guess goes according to script,
The Rams have to beat the
The
Niners.
49ers would play the Eagles because the Cowboys would play the
Right.
Lions and
Okay.
San Fran would play the Eagles if they win. Now,
Okay.
this is where the Rams game comes into play. If the Rams win, they're going to play the Niners automatically because they're going to be. I mean, the Packers probably aren't going to. We're just being honest. The Rams will play the 49ers. That would be a great game. But then the Cowboys will play the Eagles if we lose, which I hope we don't. But that would be crazy. And I think that's a very winnable game for the Eagles, considering the Cowboys haven't gotten past a divisional in almost 30 years, I think. So there's a path for the Eagles. And the 49ers, I think the NFC Championship game is going to be 49ers Eagles again. This time it's going to be in Santa Clara though, which is going to be different. So yeah, I'm gonna go Bills Eagles, and then if I had to do it, if there's like a backup pick, which we're not doing, it'd be Bills 49ers. I think the Bills are gonna win it regardless. The 49ers, it's gonna be either the Bills or the 49ers, in my opinion. Both teams are beyond due. The 49ers are really due. I feel horrible for the 49ers and how their last couple of years have ended. Not really, because the Bucks were still very much good then. But
Yeah, I mean,
um
the easy pick is Ravens versus 49ers. I mean,
yeah,
those are the two best teams right now. But nothing goes to plan, especially in the
no,
NFL. So
no.
those teams most likely will not be there. I could be dead wrong. I don't expect them both to be there.
And everybody keeps talking about that stupid conspiracy theory. Oh, look at the colors. The colors
Oh
are
yeah.
the 2 game sample size, people. Enough. Enough, man.
I
My
mean,
God.
definitely the 49ers, like they are an absolute juggernaut, and everybody who plays them is going to be a extreme underdog. And
Yep.
they're the 1 seed. They're going to have the easiest road. They're going to be playing the lowest seed. They're going to be home every time.
And they have their flaws
But
too. So
no team is perfect. We'll see what happens. I'm sticking with mine. I know Rams is a little out there, but you never know.
I'm gonna continue to ride Bills Eagles because I think there's a path for the Eagles, and I think the Eagles have a lot of good ball left because they are a really good football team, and everybody's just kind of down on them, which the NFL usually means that they're gonna play really well. But I'm excited to see how this weekend shakes out. It's gonna be a lot of good games.
Yeah. Go Cardinals.
Go Cardinals. We are a Cardinals podcast.
Yep. We are.
Go Birds.
All right. Well, that about does it.
That
So,
about does it down here.
yeah, real quick plug. I'm a fan. Richard is the super fan, obsessed. It's the 25th anniversary of The
How
Sopranos.
you done? How you done?
Real quick shout out Sopranos, all the Sopranos fans out
Give me the
there.
money. Give me the money.
Great show. Almost said
I
movie.
love Tony Soprano. My favorite character is Junior Soprano.
Junior.
My least
Oh,
favorite
Junior.
character. My least favorite character. If I had a least favorite character, it would be um Phil.
That about does it.
Phil Leotardo. I was not a fan of Phil Leotardo. Johnny Sack should never died. That's my Sopranos. Johnny Sack should never died. my favorite character is Junior Soprano.
Junior is a great character. Also, spoiler alert to anybody who hasn't watched it, you just found out someone that died. All right. That
Sorry.
about does it. That about does it. That about does
You've
it.
had 25 years to watch it.
True. That about does it. We will see you next week on
Peace
another
out.
edition of Tuesday night, honestly, weekday night football.
I got pasta to eat. In honor of Sopranos.
We love you.